everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Caps on the Coast. Tuning in today for episode 15 of the podcast. So we're staying strong, still recording some episodes. Well, 2-week break there, but lots has happened since our last podcast. So we got a ton to dive into today. Looking through it as always. How are you feeling, Grandpa?
Yeah, I'm feeling excited. We've got lots to talk about again, and yeah, we're getting closer and closer to the World Cup, and looking at Canada's team, and we'll talk about that later. So it's all good and positive. Yeah.
You mentioned the World Cup. We're 40 days off now from the start of the tournament. So
Hmm.
exciting. It's coming really fast. I'm trying to kind of mentally prepare, I think, for what we're going to witness. It's going to be a really exciting tournament. And we've started these podcasts and these videos. It's allowed us more time to reflect on football and what it means as a country, right? To participate in a tournament of this magnitude. I can't express how excited I am for Canadians and the national team to participate at the World Cup. It's such an amazing opportunity to host, and we can take full advantage of what's ahead of us, right?
Yeah, and I'd like to mention, if some of you haven't been checking your YouTube out lately, Ty here has got a video on his breakdown of what he could expect in the World Cup as far as the different teams go, and it's an excellent breakdown. And if you're any World Cup hockey pools, it could be very useful to you.
Some soccer pools for sure, and people will be doing a bit of gambling and stuff. So
Yeah,
if you need any insights on the tournament, check
have a
out my
look.
last video. Predicted the World Cup, and we appreciate the support as always. Make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe below, know your reactions to the video, and let's get into it. To first start off with some Champions League talk. Crazy couple weeks in the Champions League. Bayern Munich and PSG go head to head in the first leg. What some are describing as the game of the decade. Quite a statement to make. Some amazing football in that first leg. Will be the second leg played down in Munich. Munich are down on aggregate. PSG are ahead 5-4. So Munich will be looking to 2-goal margin, or at least a 1-goal advantage, to progress to the finals. Exciting, lots to look forward to with that. And then Arsenal and Atletico Madrid, the second leg finished today. And Arsenal beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 home they'll be progressing to the finals. So potentially, well, either way, how you slice it, it's going to be a really good final. Arsenal go up against Bayern Munich or PSG. Talk about why PSG and Bayern Munich are such exciting teams this year, and why that game had fans on the edge of their seats for the entire time. I remember a time in recent memory where I've been so invested and, couldn't take your eye off the game. You look away for 2 minutes, you'd miss a goal, right? And 9 goals in total in that match. So, yeah, what do you have to say as a football fan, just watching that game?
Well, I mean, like you just described, it was a game one for the ages, really. There's so much skill out there on the field, and they were just going back and forth. Unquestionably, so much talent, especially in the first half, right? It was just wonderful football to watch. Bayern were down 5-2 at one point in the second half, but they didn't give up. They just kept going and narrowed the final result to 5-4. So it's hard to predict who's going to win this game tomorrow. Putting my money on Bayern. They're going to be playing at home, and I think there could be. There could be a lot of goals scored again, though. It's hard to predict. I'm sure the coaches didn't like to see them freewheeling like that in the first half. But who knows where this next game's going? Yeah.
Well, Vincent Kompany, the Bayern Munich head coach, spoke after the game, and
Hmm.
he said how he he's the game really playing out in two ways. You either sit back and pressure and defend, and you don't allow the team to break you down, have the style and the brand of football where you're kind of going blow for blow and you're going all out in
Mm-hmm.
attack and defense.
Mm-hmm.
So that approach from both teams in the last game. I think we're going to see the same approach in the next game. I think Luis Enrique, the PSG coach, he feels the same way. He said that was an amazing game of football and he really enjoyed and played out. So I don't see either coach changing the tactics too much. I'm sure
No.
there will be a few adjustments. I really think we're in for another thriller. Mentioned it could be another high scoring game for both teams. You have world class players in every position on the pitch, right? So team does decide to play more defensively, there will be goals. You
Mm-hmm.
can't keep some of these players off the score sheet. Like you look at a Harry Kane who's scored in almost every game he's played in this season. He's 60 goals now in all competitions this season. So amazing campaign. Shkelia scored a brace for PSG in that last game. Dembele scored another brace. Joao Neves with a beautiful header. Elise, beautiful goal. Diaz, he's getting a lot of praise for his goal. Goal of the game. Kind of turned inside out and then blasted it top corner. Getting a lot of praise for that goal, but both teams have so much to offer in attack and in defense, and it's going to be an amazing game tomorrow. It's very hard to predict who's going to go through. I think teams having so much talent. G probably will be the favorites just because they're up a goal and they are the reigning Champions League champions.
That's
They
true.
won the tournament
Yeah.
last season.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably will be the favorites, but yeah, you can never count out Bayern Munich. They're playing at home. Uh, it's going to be a very thrilling game, we'll say. Yeah. So how do you see this one playing out? You said Bayern win. Do you have a score prediction you want to throw out there?
I could say Bayern Munich.
Okay, it's possible. They're gonna have to defend very well. Kano had a great game against PSG, Ta as well. So they do have some really strong center backs. We'll see if Davies starts again at left back. Pulled off at halftime in the first leg, but that's probably largely due to fitness. He's just coming back from his injury. We'll see if he starts. If not, Limer could be starting at that left back role well for them all season. But yeah, maybe we'll see Musiala start again. That would be great. There's just so much talent, and I can't wait for leg two tomorrow. So, yeah, leave a comment down below with your predictions. And we'll have to wait and see how that game goes, and see who Arsenal will be playing in the final. Let's move on to Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. And I'll throw it over to you, Grandpa. I just want to know your thoughts on how you think both legs went, and Arsenal is deserving to go through.
Well, it was a much closer, low scoring, different type of football. Both teams have very strong defensively, but they don't have the goal scorers that Bayern and PSG have. But I think probably the better team won overall. No winning 1-0 today. They had a slight advantage in possession, and they had more shots on goal. Um, or shots, only two on goal, but they had 13 shots, so they were doing their best to get some goals. Um, of course, Saka scored the only goal of the game just before at halftime. Before halftime, so Arsenal apparently have only lost once in their last 15 UEFA matches against Spanish clubs. They won 9 and drawn 5. Arsenal are the only unbeaten team in the Champions League this season. So they won 10 and drawn 3. So they have a very good team. I think they would be the definite underdog when they go into the final, whether it's Spain or PSG.
I think that's a pretty good analysis there, and overview of really what Arsenal are as a team this year. Lots of close scoring matches, but they managed to just edge out the win due to their defensive solidity,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really on display today, allowing Atletico Madrid to one or two shots on target. Quite impressive given the talent that Atletico Madrid have up front with players like Griezmann and Julio Perez and Lookman this year. So they great, I think. They're low event style of football, I would say. There's not much G in the matches they play in. Juggling the Champions League with the Premier League because they're on pace to win the Premier League, but it's a very tight draw between them and Manchester City. So add to the pressure, I think, as well in the finals,
Uh-huh.
that they're playing these high jeopardy matches in the Premier League. So
Yeah.
it's going to play a factor into it. But yeah, first leg it was very close. Like you said, it was 1-1. The two penalties. Julian Alvarez scored for Atletico Madrid, and then Gyökeres scored for Arsenal. Close match, low game, and then in the second leg it was very physical. I thought teams were really trying to manage the other teams, and lots of fouls and yellow cards and whatnot. Saka with that opportunistic finish in the box, just got the rebound off the goalie, and Arsenal will be very glad to have him back from injury because he's been out for most of the season. So to come back at this time, right before the Champions League final, is amazing for them.
Mhm.
Like the Whitecaps with Ryan Gauld, him coming back at the end of the season for MLS Cup, huge lift for us as a club, right? So the fans and the players feel the same way about Saka being back,
Mhm.
and he'll have a big role to play this summer with England at the World Cup as well. So
That's
good
right.
timing on his part, to be back, and yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. The final being May the 30th in Budapest in Hungary. So just a mention of that and Puskás Arena.
It'll be a great final no matter which way it goes, and Arsenal did well to progress. Props to them. They did it through their event style of football, but over the line, Arteta must be thrilled. His job would have been on the line if they lost the Premier League and the Champions League. So now he has a chance to contend for both titles, and huge for them. So yeah, Champions League has provided us with some amazing football season. We've seen great games. Like I said, some are calling that Bayern Munich PSG leg the game of the century. I agree. I think the World Cup final, saying that, Argentina 3-3. Last year, Inter Milan and Barcelona in the Champions League. Uh, that was a 5-4 game or something. So we've seen some amazing football recently, and I think it's great for the sport as a whole because there was talks of it not being exciting as it was, 10 years ago. But game just reminds us of that quality is still there, and those games have a potential to play out like that. Managers give their players the freedom to express themselves on the pitch, and we really saw that come to the forefront. So it's great stuff, and I think we can move on now to talk some Canadian men's national team stuff. Like we were mentioning, we're now 30 days away from World Cup, and 40 days away. But the biggest worry for us as Canadian fans was the injury list that we've seen, right, over the last few months. Defenders down with injuries. There's players all over the pitch picking up injuries, and we were beginning to wonder if Jesse Marsh and our national team were cursed. But it looks like it's kind of turning the corner at the right time, and a lot of these players are coming back and they're playing some minutes and lining up almost perfectly with the World Cup. Obviously, you'd like your players to play in some big matches before the World Cup, but they've been doing their best to recover, and we've heard their recovery stories and how hard they've fought to get to this moment. It's amazing that their players have reached this kind of pinnacle now where they get to play a few matches and play. So we're talking about Alistair Johnson, who just came back with Celtic, Alfonso Davies back with Bayern Munich, Beto training again with Nice, hasn't played any minutes yet, but that's a good sign that he's training. Cornelius back from injury, although he hasn't featured for Rangers in a while. Owen's still out through injury. He's at risk of missing the World Cup, we'll say. Riso still out with injury, but quite a few players coming back to the field lately. So, yeah, to the players I mentioned, like to add, and what do you think is the most stick look that we can have on this?
Well, it's unfortunate when we look at the players that you mentioned. I think our defensive core have been hit the hardest with the injuries. Cornelius and Alfie Jones, Bombito. They're all key defensive players, and it's hoped they will be available. They all are working on trying to do their best to come back, like you suggest. They're getting playing time as a sub, or else they're. I'm a little concerned with him because for his future, he's training with the youth team right now of Rangers youth team, and it's a question of whether he will be fit enough to play in the World Cup. And he's not playing with the Rangers right now. He's trying to regain his fitness. So I mean, we can hope he will be okay.
Yeah, actually, I just want to add on that too. He had a falling out with the manager. That's the reports that are coming out of
Okay.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Since his argument or whatever it was, he isn't getting any playing time with the first team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even if he is fit and match ready, isn't favored in that squad. So, like you said, it's a huge concern.
Yeah. If there's a question of his relationship with his manager, with the Rangers manager, that is a concern about the immediate future, whether he'll get some enough playing time and whether he'll end up playing for Rangers, even if he's ready to. Johnson, I guess he had a bit of a setback when he was training with the Canada team. And so he's let's hope he came off the bench in May. Celtic, he plays with Celtic, and Celtic played a game against Hibernian and won 2-1. He came off the bench in May, so there's a hope he will definitely hope he'll be back with us. And like you say,
He picked up an assist as well in that
did he?
match.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good news. Alfie Jones he had that serious ankle injury, and he was supposed to be out of the lineup for 8 or 10 weeks. But he plays for Middlesbrough in England, and he's uh, they're saying his return is somewhat unlikely for this year with the Middlesbrough team. So there's a big question mark there with Alfie Jones. Miller plays for Hull City, and he's their last game they beat Norwich. He's a solid defender. If he can't make it back, it'll be a big blow to the team too.
Liam Miller's he's injured.
Uh,
Playing matches. I thought he was fit.
um, well, what I was
I
reading,
think he came back from injury.
he just came back from injury. Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he scored a goal
yeah,
about a week ago for Hull
yeah.
City. I think he's been playing 90-minute games, so uh,
Okay,
he's back to full fitness now.
good, good, good. Okay.
It's we're looking up, I think, right? It's optimistic. Lots of our players are coming back. There's still a few worries for sure.
Yeah, as long as they can get some playing time, even if it's as a sub, it's a game situation, and they're coming back, they're regaining their fitness through the training off, between games, and coming in for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or whatever, in a game situation is going to count towards them being ready for the World Cup. Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about timing with these injuries and a bit of time to match fitness before the start of the World Cup.
Uh-huh.
Obviously concerned about Promise David as he's one of the most important strikers
Yes.
or best forwards. He's injured. He pulled something in his thigh and been out for about a month now. But he's in the most jeopardy of missing the World Cup in terms of the players that aren't looking. They're on a good timeline to get back. So another one who's in jeopardy of missing the tournament. But yeah, for the most part, it's looking good. If Alistair Johnson is in good fitness come the World Cup, he will most likely start over Nico Seeger, even though Nico Seeger has done a great job back. But I think
Oh,
the leadership that Alistair Johnson brings to the team and
uh-huh.
fight and that tenacity,
Yeah.
can't replicate that with any other player. So I
Yeah.
think he would be favored to start over Seeger.
Uh-huh.
Gonna be Richie Larea just got injured as well. The player we forgot to mention, and he's been
Toronto.
a
Yeah. Toronto.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's been an amazing player for
Yeah.
us. So back in time, it'll be a big question whether he starts at left back or whether it's Alphonso Davies. And
Uh-huh.
if it is Davies who starts at left back, what does that mean for Larea? Because you have to have Larea on the field. He's he's a pace setter as well for the national team, and he
Mhm,
leadership and grit and
mhm,
fight, and he
mm.
had a great season. He's scored a couple goals for Toronto in the last few weeks before getting injured, so that's another player that will be closely. De Fougerolles, he's been playing quite a bit for Dender in the Belgian Pro League. So he's a good center back option. If Derek Cornelius isn't in fitness come the tournament, I would think that Luc De Fougerolles would be starting at that center back role alongside Moise Bombito. I think as Canadians, we can feel pretty confident with that center back pairing. High level players. Bombito is absolutely crucial to this team. I was Canada to play the way that we play with a high line due to his recovery pace and his ability to win balls in the air. So
Right.
without Bombito, we're missing a huge piece of our team. And I say pretty confidently that was the most important Canadian player for us.
Yeah, I've heard that said by some of the sports journalists, Christian Jack, and a few others that say he's the key to our doing well at the World Cup. So without him in the lineup, it's going to make it that much more difficult. No question. Yeah.
Sure. Let's talk about a few of our forwards and midfielders that have
Yeah.
been doing well. We're optimistic to look at them because they've been playing quite a bit. Laren being
Yeah.
the most informed Canadian men's national team player at the moment. Scored 8 goals for Southampton since joining in the spring. Uh, Played 18 games, so that's about a goal every 2 games. Plus, he has an assist or two. He's in the form of his life right now. Beautiful goal. I forget which match it was, but he hit the ball up the pitch, chopped it back around a player, and then buried one far post. And those are the kind of goals you score if you're not in amazing form. So
Mm,
this was amazing to see as a Canadian fan because we've been waiting to see this Kyle Larin, and he's hitting this form at the perfect time, it feels like.
mm,
So I
mhm.
pretty confidently that he'll start alongside Jonathan David in at least a couple of matches at the World Cup. Would
Yeah,
you
I'm
agree with
sure.
that?
Yes, definitely. He scored a goal. Southampton won their game against Preston 3-1. He scored a goal, and then Southampton and Ipswich Town scored a draw 2-2, and he scored a goal there. So they're now fourth from the top of the Championship League in England, Southampton, and a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with Kyle Larin hitting the back of the net. So yeah, he's this. Looking ahead, you would think he'd be just a shoe-in now to play up front. Yeah, with
From
our
a
team.
Canadian perspective, the other exciting story that's playing out in the championship. Now it's the championship playoffs to see which teams will, uh, or what team will qualify in that third spot for promotion to the Premier League next season. The championship playoff of Hampton and Hillsborough going head to head, and we'll play the winner of Hull City and the other club that's in that I
Oh,
had it
not
earlier.
sure.
Millwall.
Millwall.
I'm not very familiar with Millwall, but I
No.
think it's cool that we have 3 Canadians playing in the championship, and they're
Yeah.
on those teams. Liam Miller's with Hull City, Aaron with Southampton, and then Alfie Jones with Middlesbrough. So most
And
likely see a Canadian playing in the Premier League next season. So
yeah.
what an exciting story.
Yeah, it is exciting. Of course, we know about Ali Ahmed is playing for Norwich and how well he's helped that team out. They're in ninth place now, and when he joined them, they were basically at the bottom of the league. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
they were in the
another.
relegation zone.
Yeah, there's another good story about a Canadian soccer player helping pull up the socks of a team in the Championship League, helping them to do better. So that's a good story too.
Absolutely. And a couple of midfielders that just came back from injury, Eustachio and Jacob Schaffelberg, they're playing with LAFC in the MLS. Eustachio being a definite starter at the World Cup if he's fit, be crucial to what we do in the midfield. Setter, pace setter, fight, great leader in the locker room as well. Yeah, he's come off the bench a couple times for LAFC in the past week. Jacob Schaffelberg as well, an assist coming off the bench for LAFC, and he's looked great. So How exciting is that from a Canadian perspective to have those two back into the fold?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's wonderful. LAFC have half of their team are Canadians. No, I'm exaggerating a bit, but they've got Eustachio is getting good playing time, and Chaudière is also with the team, and Scheffelberg, and they're all getting good playing time with the team. So they're that's what we need. And Scheffelberg scored a goal in the game against the Toluca game. Was it? Yeah. Um, he scored
Champions
a
Cup.
second goal. Yeah, it was scored a goal, but it was called on the offside. Yeah, that's what happened,
Oh,
according to my notes. But he put the ball in the back of the net on a very good cross, but he was slightly offside, and so the goal didn't count. And that was what was the score of that game? Did they? I'm
they
trying to
they
think.
beat Toluca.
Toluca won.
Toluca, I think it was 3.
3-1. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is all good with LAFC giving the Canadian boys some good playing time.
Sure, it's looking up from here. We're so excited for the World Cup. I think Canada's going to do great things. A lot of potential with their group. Successful tournament. Hope they can pick up their first win at the World Cup. They haven't done in their 2 appearances, but yeah, it's looking up from here. Marsh has a big job to do, but I think he's going to get it done, and we're going to see great things. That wraps up our Canadian men's national team segment. We want to touch on the Whitecaps a bit. That's our club. We support them. Ties with the club. There's a Save the Caps movement at the moment. The potential for a relocation of the club. Mayor Ken Sim come out of Vancouver with a statement. With provincial government come out with a statement. Schuster's made many appearances in public talking about the state of the club. Yeah, it's jeopardy, of course, the club of keeping it in Vancouver. Reason for concern. It's yeah. But what do you make of the whole situation right now going on in Vancouver? And there's a chance we can keep the club.
Well, a thread of hope now, I think. Like you were saying, when they had the FIFA Congress, representatives from all the countries in the world participating in the World Cup, and Garber was here, the commissioner, Garber of the MLS commissioner, and there was apparently a three-person meeting. Well, four with the Whitecaps, I guess, but three. The mayor and the premier, Ebby, and Mayor Kim Sin, they met with Don Garber and they talked about what is the thread of hope that we can hang on to for the team. And we're talking about 50 years of Whitecap soccer. Before the MLS, there was a National Soccer League and so on, and 50 years of professional soccer in Vancouver. So I think Garber is starting to realize just how much of a loss this will be to the team, to the city, to the support that the Whitecaps get. Like you and I, it's been a big part of our life for 10, 12 years, and to suddenly realize we were losing our club, it was devastating. But I think if there is a hope, it could involve, for example, some kind of management situation with BC Place. Obviously, there's no stadium to play in other than BC Place right now. So the possibility of some kind of management with the province support and some kind of arrangement with through Path Company, which manages the Path Company manages for the provinces. There could be some kind of arrangement there for say 2 to 3, 4 years while a stadium is built. Specific soccer stadium is built at the P&E grounds there, Hastings, which is city-owned land, and that could be some kind of arrangement. I think that's going to have to be the hope right now. That there has to be some kind of tenable arrangement for all concerned. So I'm more hopeful now myself than I was say a month ago. The fact that they've been talking and I think Garber realizes how important this team is to this city and province and country, right? I see a little bit of hope there now, which I didn't have as much hope a month ago.
You raised some good points there about a potential partnership between the Whitecaps and BC Place to maybe take over the stadium for a couple years, and it's expensive to run the stadium. That's what I've heard. Is it costs a lot, but there is the potential to make more money. In the long term, they're going to need their own venue. So really, they just need a few years at least so that they can build a new stadium.
Uh-huh.
I think the province and the mayor is just calling for some more clarity for the club and exactly what needs to happen in order to keep the club. We've heard from Schuster that there needs to be 30 to 40 little steps, little improvements in order to keep the club, but we exactly know what those are. As fans, it feels like we've done everything we possibly can to support the club, like by buying jerseys, for example, or attending matches. Like our attendance is second highest in the MLS. We're averaging over 22,000 fans every single game this season.
Uh-huh.
So you can't ask for much more from the fans, right? We've done our part to this point, up to the owners and the management to get a deal across the line to sell the club because we know that the owners want to sell the club, but it's important that they find buyers that want to keep the club in the city. You said, I think it's becoming increasingly obvious how important the club is to Vancouver. Like the management and Don Garber and everyone who's involved understands importance this club, like how important it is to the fans in the city. I it doesn't feel like an option for the club to move. Like it feels like we have to find a way to keep it here. We're gonna have to just wait and see. It's kind of out of our control at this point, but the CAF movement is effective, I think. We've seen a lot of discourse online from fans all over the world expressing how important the club is to them. Yeah, we'll have to see some improvements going forward. Vancouver Whitecaps acquired a couple more sponsorships. It's positive. Been more talks with buyers for the club. One avenue that the Whitecaps don't have access to, which is very unfortunate, is actually gambling partnerships. Because the United States, all the American clubs are able to attain a lot of revenue gambling partnerships. But for whatever reason, in British Columbia, they're not allowed to advertise at the club. So that's a major revenue source that has been completely discounted. We're just gonna have to wait and see. It's not gonna be an overnight thing. I don't think we're gonna have a definite answer until probably next year, or at least after the World Cup, like maybe in September. I know they're gonna have meetings and discuss it. Yeah, I feel optimistic that they're gonna find a way to keep the club here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, I do too. I think the will is such that all the partners want to keep the club here. It's just a question of working out the mechanics of how that will work, and it's detailed. It's you're dealing with big dollars and huge amounts of money, and it'll take a little bit of time. I'm hopeful too.
Sure. And another way to spread awareness about the club, of course, is to discuss their on-pitch results. Let's get into a bit of what the Whitecaps have been doing in the last couple weeks. A successful run of games up to, last weekend where they picked up their first draw of the season against the Galaxy. But before that, they beat Colorado. That was a good match. Displayed some dominance. Sorensen talked about how he thought it was one of the best games of the season so far. White scored a brace. Sabali, our new signing, got a goal in 10 minutes of the match. So that was good to see. What did you make of the Colorado game, and what do you think this means for our place in the Western Conference?
Well, yeah. The Colorado have got a good team this year. They're one of the surprise teams compared to the last couple of years. They've, been doing fairly well. But the Caps were totally dominated. They were ahead 2-1 at halftime, and White, like you say, his two goals were very good goals, and Sabalé got that third goal. But at 2-1 at halftime, and then it was all our team. And in the first half, we missed a few chances. It could have been higher than 2-1. But and then we scored. White got his second goal, I guess it was in the second half, and we were at command. But Colorado came on a little stronger in the second half, I believe, if I'm right. But we were always in command, and that was a good win for our team. Yeah.
It was quite dominant. Like I said, we should have had more goals. Brian
Hmm.
White missed a good opportunity to
Yeah.
get a hat trick.
Yeah.
That was a bit disappointing from a Whitecaps perspective, but
Hmm.
it's great to see players doing everything they can to show for the fans. That was their last home game before the World Cup, so they'll
That's
have
right.
almost a 3-month break now
Hmm.
between now and their next home game, which is insane to think about in the middle of the season that we have a 3-month break from home games.
Hmm.
Yeah. Then we went on the road last Saturday. Played the LA Galaxy. It was much closer than the Colorado game. There weren't many chances. Were few and far between. Gabriel Peck and Joseph Paintsil looked pretty dangerous for the Galaxy. Our defense did a good job of holding them to only one goal. Johnson did a great job of dealing with Peck on that left side of the pitch. Paintsil, who picked up the Galaxy's goal.
I think it was.
So, he had a good game, but did a good job of defending them. Takaoka, our
Hmm.
goalie, only needed to make one save, which was thing, but he also made the mistake that led to their goal, right? And
Hmm.
it was a poor pass from Takaoka, but we've kind of been playing with fire all season, pass out of the back like that, and it seemed like it finally bit us in the butt. So kind of reflective of we've been playing with fire for sure. Two touch passing out of the back all season long.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was a
Yeah.
mistake, it happens, but Takaoka's been great for us all season with his service,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna fault him too much on that.
No, no, it was obviously his mistake there. But one thing that I was disappointed about, but I mean, players get sick. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a hype before the game with Muller, a German star, versus Roos, who plays for LAC Galaxy. Was going to, they played together, Roos and Muller on the German national team a number of times back a number of years back. Of course, they was featured that they finally get to play in the MLS against each other. But then Muller, unfortunately, wasn't. We saw him watching in the stands, so it was just maybe the flu or something. But Badwell started instead of Muller in that game. But we definitely missed a couple of good chances in the first half. Thinking back, there was a question: are we going to lose this first game on the road? Until Laborda scored on a nice header on a free kick from Berhalter about the 81st minute. A beautiful uh, free kick, which we know Berhalter is capable of, outside of their uh, uh, goal area, penalty area. Laborda was there to head it in. Nice goal for him. But yeah, we dominated. We had about 60% of the possession in that game. 19 shots at the goal, but there were only five on target. So again, we were missing our chances to score, especially noticeable. I thought in the first half. It was a good win.
Yeah.
I want to mention Bruno Casado, one of our newer players. He's been playing for about 3 games now. He didn't start in this game or this LA Galaxy game, and I don't believe he started in the Colorado game. But I think he started in the game before that against
Yeah.
Salt Lake City, was it? Yeah, yeah.
No, it was,
SKC,
Sporting s
SKC,
yeah,
Sporting
yeah,
Kansas City. Yeah, I think he started in that game. He scored a goal or two for us.
mhm.
He's fast. He's a welcome addition to our team for sure.
Yeah, it's been great having him. He quickly emerged as a fan favorite this season, and,
Yeah,
in a lot of the post-match conferences, questions that's repeatedly been asked to Sorensen is why isn't Caicedo starting in the games? Um
yeah.
is usually that the other player that's playing instead of him offers, different that he thought that needed in that game. But it's going to be hard for Sorensen to keep him on the bench, I think, going forward
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
every time he comes on the pitch, he makes something happen. Yeah, he got an assist in the Colorado game. Should have had a goal. It got called offside for a handball, but really hard to tell on the video review in that one. Yeah, he's been an amazing signing so far, and it's going to be great to watch him evolve over the next couple years, and he emerges in the league as really establishes himself, I think, as a
Yeah.
ace for the Whitecaps.
he reminds me a little bit of Ali Ahmed. You know, he's got that kind of speed and pretty good ball control, and can cut in and beat you from you know, almost any angle. Yeah.
And then this weekend, so we're going to be going head to head with San Jose. Uh,
Hmm.
3 points ahead of them in the table, but the Whitecaps do have a game in hand. So in on the road, the Whitecaps could secure the top spot in the Western Conference, have a better goal differential. What does the prospect of this game mean to you, and how do you see it playing out?
Well, San Jose are just what are they 2, 3 points ahead of us right now? But
Yeah,
they
three
have a game
points.
in hand. They've got a game in hand too. So this is, you know, it's in San Jose. We're, like you say, we're on the road for a few games now till after the World Cup. So it'll be a tough game, no question about it. But I think the Whitecaps will be up to it. If you think back to last year, um, they were very good on the road. Maybe they were the top road team or equivalent to the top road team. Maybe sharing that title with another team or two, but they are capable of, if they can play their game and come up with a good defensive. Because San Jose can score goals, they are scoring goals this year. You know, we have to take when we get a chance, we have to score. That's going to be the key thing, I think. If we can't throw away good chances. We have a couple of chances when we have to score a couple of goals.
For sure. Yeah, that'll do it for episode 15 of Caps on the Coast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you made it this far, drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Hear you guys' thoughts on the video. But yeah, as always, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye for now. Thank you.